crowns and tiaras. Welcome to Toxic Tea Lounge. Everything in this video was allegedly. Let's talk. So we are going to be talking about Cassie and Diddy. Okay, I already covered a little bit when it first came out. I actually looked at the court documents, okay, with everything that's being said on Cassie's side and stuff like that. And we are going to be talking about the documents. I'm going to be reading it, so y'all better make sure y'all stay tuned so y'all can really pay attention to the details and things that's being said if you did not read the document yet. Okay, now this is a trigger warning. I'm going to do my best to try to put in some type of codes for certain words so I don't got to get demonetized, because I feel like this is a topic that should be discussed. It's something that needs to be put out in the open, you know, because if this did happen, because allegedly this is what's going on, if this did happen and Diddy is a monster, okay, more women should come out. Okay, I'm pretty sure Diddy did not only do this to Cassie, okay, Kim Porter, okay, who is now deceased, okay, and everybody is bringing up all his exes and J-Lo and all this stuff that they got going on. Things are going to resurface. People are going to speak out, and that's what we need. It definitely takes a lot of confidence. Okay, you got to put your fear aside. It's a lot of things that play into certain situations like this where the victim can be, you know, frightened, threatened, you know, just scared of the possibilities of coming out and speaking the truth about a monster. Okay, I'm pretty sure a lot of us witnessed, been through, or will be, you know, going through some type of DV weird situation when it comes to a man or a woman. But we're going to get straight into the documents. Okay, I will be giving y'all my opinions and everything going forward, but I'm just going to let y'all know this right now. The details in this document, okay, I'm believing it. And me, in my opinion, on this side with Toxic Tea Lounge, out of my mouth and my mindset, I'm reading these things and I'm starting to put two and two together. Now, this is not something new. There's always been some type of allegations regarding Diddy and the woman and the men and all type of stuff, right? But there have not been no concrete evidence for anyone to really pinpoint things on him. He is somebody that is very important in the industry with a lot of money, and y'all know money can get you out of a lot of things with hush money. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly, these are the things that might be happening. NDAs. Maybe Cassie had an NDA where she cannot speak out on a certain, you know, time frame, or I don't know. But she's coming out with her truth as she should. And I feel like anybody that's dealing with any type of DV situations like this, please get out, okay? Don't let your fear overpower your judgments and your decisions, because that can risk you. That can risk your life. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's basically what I just want to say before I start getting into these documents. And when I tell you, don't be coming from me because I don't know every single word in the world. Okay? I'm pretty sure you don't either. So we are going to get into this, and that's just basically what that's about. Now, I'm not going to go from the front because in my last video, I already covered the beginning of the documentation regarding what was it about? It was the preliminary statement, okay? That's what I talked about in my other video. Okay? So we are going to start with number 12. Now, this is pages of documents, so I'm going to try to get through this, okay? All right. So let's just get into it. Okay? So Cassie has now fully escaped Diddy. But the harm that the assaults and the essay, I gotta say certain words, y'all. Okay. So, because I don't want to get demonetized. Okay. So the assault and the actual abuse he caused her to experience for nearly a decade will forever haunt her. So this been happening for 10 years. Okay. Allegedly. She has required intensive medical and psychological care to recover from trauma she lived through. She cannot, however, continue to live in silence about what she endured. Okay. Mr. Combs, who is Diddy, remains immensely powerful, immensely dangerous. Cassie therefore seeks justice for the decade of her life that, Diddy took away from her with threats of violence, excessive use of drugs, physical and psychological abuse, and sexual slavery. Accordingly, Cassie brings this action seeking an injunctive, declaratory, and monetary relief against defendants in violation of federal trafficking laws. Okay, the trafficking laws, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, and then they talk about the codes in here, New York Services for Victims of Human Trafficking, and everything else. Okay. Now let's get into the factual allegations. Okay. Teenaged Cassie meets middle-aged Diddy as her career begins. Okay, this is what we're going to get into. Cassie met Diddy in 2005 or early 2006. After Diddy heard that Cassie's first single playing in a club expressed interest in signing her to his label Bad Boy Records. At this time, Cassie was 19 years old. Diddy was 37 years old. Within months, in February 2006, Cassie signed a 10-album deal with Diddy record label. Okay, now Cassie's first album, Cassie, was released in August 2006, debuting at number 4 on the U.S. Billboard 200. To promote the album, Cassie made television appearances on MTV's Total Request Live and BET's 106 & Park. And then Cassie suffered from significant performance anxiety during these appearances, and press outlets were highly critical of Cassie's performances on these shows. Okay. Now, Diddy, however, sought to rehabilitate his newly signed talent, telling MTV News, "You could hear the nervousness in her voice. And to be honest, I kind of smiled at it because it made me really appreciate what I really love about her. She's a regular person. It just made me appreciate that she got nervous, and it was kind of cute to me. To be honest, you got to understand the success for her is coming out of nowhere. It's just so huge, and sometimes everybody handles it differently." While clearly paternalistic in noting that it was cute to him how regular Cassie appeared, Diddy comments rang true to some extent. Upon signing with Bad Boy Records, Cassie was quickly thrust into the spotlight and was unfamiliar with how to navigate her new celebrity status. Okay, Diddy recognition and glorification of Cassie's narrative proved to set the groundwork for his manipulative and coercive romantic and actual relationship with Cassie, a woman nearly 2 decades his junior. Within a year of signing with Bad Boys Records, Diddy became deeply entrenched in Cassie's life almost immediately, asserting possession and control over her and inserting himself into all aspects of her career and her personal life. This is what makes me think that Young Miami is currently probably going through this because, every time she go on interviews, anytime she talk about Diddy, she always talk about the materialistic things, the trips that they go on and all type of stuff. So make sure y'all stay tuned because this is going to get crazy. Okay, it's making me believe that, Diddy helped her with Carisha Please, the podcast show, and, all type of stuff that he's doing for Carisha. And they not in a relationship. It's a pattern, in my opinion. Okay. In November 2006, Diddy invited Cassie to perform his song Come to Me along with him at the MTV Europe Music Awards in Denmark. After rehearsal for the performance, Diddy walked around in a robe with a drink in his hand, flaunting his lavish party lifestyle to his label's newly signed artists. During hair and makeup leading up to the performance, Cassie's hairstylist and Diddy makeup artist told Cassie that Diddy was interested in Cassie. Okay. Now, Cassie shrugged off the gossip and, in fact, expressed disgust given the large age gap between her and the president of her record label. So she wasn't interested in the beginning. Okay. She thought he was too old. Emphasizing the age and power dynamic early on in the working relationship, Diddy positioned himself as a father figure and protector of Cassie. By the way, for example, after returning to New York after a trip to Las Vegas, during which she endured a brief hospital stay, Cassie, who by then was fully healthy, went out to a club with her friends. When Diddy saw her out, he reprimanded her, okay, telling her to go home and take care of herself. At the time, Cassie thought that her record label was looking out for her well-being and that Diddy had her best interests in mind. Now, Diddy was assured that he was intertwined with Cassie's personal and social life, for instance, by inviting himself to Cassie's 21st birthday party in Las Vegas. He also brought along famous musicians and producers, thereby flaunting his celebrity status influence in front of a young and impressionable Cassie. Although Diddy knew that Cassie was in a relationship at the time, and even though he was publicly in a relationship with Kim Porter, Diddy nevertheless pursued Cassie. At an after party in a hotel suite following Cassie's 21st birthday, Diddy pulled Cassie into a bathroom and forcibly kissed her. Cassie did not consent to this unwanted contact. She immediately ran out of the bathroom in the hotel suite and cried. She told her best friend at the time about what happened, but was too scared to tell anyone else. And these are things that happen. Like I said, fear would definitely have you thinking the opposite, of what you shouldn't do. At the Video Music Awards the following day, Cassie's boyfriend at the time joined her and Diddy at a table at the awards ceremony. Diddy became angry, telling Cassie that the invitation to the award ceremony was only for her and it was not for her significant other. Now we're going into Diddy lures Cassie into a relationship. Okay, so they're breaking it down. So just think of this as a timeline. So make sure y'all still with me. Okay, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, I need the coins. Let's go. Despite her clear rejection of Diddy's advances, Diddy continued to demand Cassie spend time with him, including for a weekend at Diddy's residence in Miami and for nights out in New York City. On one particular night around September 2007, Diddy insisted on taking Cassie out. Now, Cassie, exquisite, fearing that rejection, Diddy requests would have repercussions for her album deal with Diddy and his company, Bad Boys Records. Now, Diddy picked up Cassie from her apartment in Manhattan in a blue luxury vehicle. Now, Cassie was surprised that when she got into the car, Diddy was already inebriated. I don't know how to say that word, but he was basically intoxicated. Something was going on, right? He handed her a pill and told her to take it. When Cassie asked what the pill was, Diddy dismissed her and told her she would like it. She later learned the pill was ecstasy, something Cassie had never before tried and did not want to try. This was the first time Diddy got Cassie high. Now, Diddy proceeded to drive recklessly at very high speeds down the West Side Highway of Manhattan. Cassie was very scared, but did not dare to object to Diddy, who appeared drunk, high, and agitated. Now, Diddy took Cassie to an upscale lounge in downtown Manhattan, where he proceeded to get into an altercation with the security staff who would not permit Diddy to enter. Presumably, because he was belligerent. Now, Cassie decided to go home, but for the remainder of the night, Diddy messaged Cassie incessantly, complaining that he left him high and alone. Now, early fall 2007, Diddy flexed his power and influence when he paid a promoter to create a fake flyer for a party hosted by Cassie. This fake posting allowed Cassie to have an excuse to go to Miami, Florida, and get away from her boyfriend by using the guise of legitimate event she had to attend. Now, Cassie was stunned at how easily Diddy was able to recruit others to lie for him. Now, Cassie was uncomfortable with the fake flyer, but because the request to go in Miami was made by the owner of her record label, and because she was scared to go against his wishes and to face repercussions to her nascent career, Cassie agreed to join Diddy in Florida. Okay. Now, during his trip in Miami, Diddy provided Cassie with capacious amount of drugs. She became more intoxicated than she ever before, okay? And her intoxication lasted throughout the weekend trip. As she wanted Diddy to continue to support her career, she felt she could not refuse Diddy's urging her to take more drugs. After providing her with drugs, Diddy had some intercourse with Cassie during the trip. Within 2 years of meeting Diddy, Cassie found herself lured into the immediate circle of her boss, the owner of the record label, and one of the most powerful men in the entertainment industry. Okay. Now we're going to get into Diddy exerts control over Cassie's career and personal life. From the very start of their relationship, Diddy exceeded his power and influence over Cassie. This dynamic was fueled by the nearly 20-year age difference, as well as their relative positions in the entertainment industry. Now, Diddy considered a music mogul, okay, and Cassie is the very start of her career as an entertainer. Now, Diddy's aggressive and demanding approach to those he worked with made it impossible for anyone to challenge him, and Cassie soon learned that Diddy insisted on blind loyalty from everyone in the inner circle, okay? Although Cassie had saved up some earnings from her young modeling career, Diddy's display of wealth was intimidating to her. Now, Diddy paid for things with wads of cash, okay, and would repeatedly tell Cassie, "Don't worry about money, I have money." Okay, so clearly he's a narcissist, he's controlling, and he's uses money and materialistic things to lure these women and to keep them to stay. He thinks that's doing something, but in all reality, these women are fearing for their life and they're just scared, in my opinion. Okay. Now, Diddy expensed lavish vacations for him and Cassie, purchased a car for her, paid for her apartment, and provided her with extensive amounts of designer clothes. Sounds familiar. Ain't he currently doing that with Young Miami? It's crazy. Now, around 2008 or 2009, Diddy began to rent an apartment in Manhattan for Cassie. The apartment was within walking distance of Diddy's New York residence, so he wanted her close. He first showed Cassie the apartment by bringing her there along with her parents. Okay, now Cassie's parents were skeptical of the mogul's display of wealth, but proud of their daughter's newfound success. Now, around 2010, Diddy similarly paid for an apartment for Cassie in Los Angeles, which was located about 5 minutes away from Diddy's residence. He paid for many of her apartments in California and also purchased a Jaguar for her around 2013, 2014. Now, all aspects of Cassie's life were controlled by either Diddy or his management companies. Every event Cassie attended, from the travel to the makeup and clothing, was paid for directly by Diddy and his affiliated companies. Now, compounding this all, encompassing intrusion into her life, Diddy secured his control over the young and impressionable Cassie by introducing her to a drug-fueled lifestyle that kept her complacent and compliant. Okay, now Diddy first introduced Cassie to opiates around 2008, and will often have pills and other drugs out in the open like candy. Upon information and belief, Diddy has been addicted to prescription painkillers and took ecstasy frequently. Drug issue? Allegedly. Okay. At first, Cassie was given the prescriptions that Diddy received from a doctor in Miami, Florida. Eventually, when Diddy exhausted his supply of pills, he demanded that Cassie procure prescriptions from his Miami doctor in her own name. Okay. Diddy also became deeply involved in Cassie's personal life, with his personal staff attending to Cassie's day-to-day travel and other needs, including medical care. On multiple occasions, Diddy and Cassie's personal medical records were sent directly to his email. Ain't that a HIPAA or something? Like, why would he be getting her medical records? You know what I'm saying? That's weird. Okay. For instance, when Cassie began experiencing memory loss, potential due to excessive drug use and or head injuries caused by Diddy's, the beatings, as described below, her MRI results are provided directly to Diddy. Now, Diddy also repeatedly arranged for his staff to drive Cassie to certain doctor's appointments. In this way, Diddy exerted ownership over Cassie. As another example of the ways in which he manipulated Cassie and ensured obedience early on in their relationship, he asked Cassie what she called her grandfather. When Cassie said that she referred to her grandfather as Pop Pop, Diddy perversely insisted that Cassie refers to him with that nickname. What in the world? Now, let me know down in the comments below, how do y'all feel about this so far? Because we got some ways to go, okay? I'm going to just let y'all know this right now. This is sick. It's too much details that just sound so realistic and believable that I am on Cassie's side, okay? And that is just how I'm standing on it, okay? Now, we're going to be talking about Diddy and Cassie's relationship becomes violent and abusive, okay? That's what we're going to be talking about now. What started as a whirlwind of celebrity meetings and drug and alcohol-fueled parties, however, quickly turned frightening and violent. Now, Cassie was also exposed to the intense violence that pervaded Diddy's rise to fame. For example, on one occasion, when Diddy and Cassie were using drugs together in his home, one of his security staff barged in, announced that Suge Knight, a longtime rival of Diddy's, was spotted at Mel Drive's Inn Diner in Los Angeles. Now, Diddy began to get dressed, retrieved some multiple from a safe and ran out of his home where he believed Mr. Knight was dining. Okay, now Cassie became terrified and began to cry. On at least 2 occasions, Diddy demanded that Cassie hold his weapons in her purse. Now, Cassie had no all right, so basically she was not familiar with guns and was petrified that the firearm would accidentally go off in her purse. There was no clear reason why Diddy required her to hold his weapon, except to enforce that to his young girlfriend that he was violent, powerful, and dangerous. Over the next decade, multiple times each year, Diddy would violently, violate Cassie, leaving bruises on her body. After every instance in which he violated Cassie, Diddy used his money and power to orchestrate extensive efforts to hide the evidence of his, abuse, including by hiding Cassie in hotels for days at a time to let her bruises heal. Okay. In one such instance, after a party with Jay-Z, Diddy violated, Cassie repeatedly in an Escalade, including by kicking and hitting her. He forced her out of the vehicle on 5th Avenue in New York City. She was eventually able to hail a cab and get to her apartment in Manhattan, where she cried in fear, realizing there was no one she could talk to this about. She spent the subsequent 3 days hiding in her apartment. Now, in January 2009, after Diddy learned that Cassie spoke to another music manager at a party in Los Angeles, he became enraged. Okay. She had hoped speaking to this manager would allow her to further grow her career and that Diddy would be happy for her. But instead, he became extremely angry and pulled her out of the club where the party was taking place. In the car leaving the club, Diddy violated Cassie, pushing her into a corner of the vehicle and stomping on her face. Now, Diddy's security staff, Roger Bonds, tried to stop the violation, but was unable to de-escalate the situation. When the car arrived at Diddy's residence, Cassie attempted to run away, but Diddy followed her and proceeded to again kick her in the face. Now, Cassie was bleeding profusely and was hurried into Diddy's home, where she began to throw up from the violent assault. Upon recognizing the damage he had done and physically evidence of his violations, Diddy panicked and forced his staff to bring Cassie to a hotel suite at the London Hotel in Los Angeles, where she was required to stay for a week. During this stay, as her injuries from the violation healed, Cassie began to fully realize that Diddy tremendously loyal network not only knew about and witnessed this violation, but also that these witnesses were not willing to do anything meaningful to stop Diddy's behavior. She recognized that she was powerless and that reporting Diddy to the authorities would not alter Diddy's status or influence, but would merely give Diddy another excuse to hurt her. All right. And that is true because a lot of the times, you know, these powerful people have other people under their belt that will probably do their dirty work, regardless of anything, you know? So yeah, you got to be mindful and careful about these certain situations, but also these people that's doing these things, these monsters, are really scared to get locked up and is really scared to be outed. Okay, so they use their threats, they use their money, you do this and do that because they don't want you to speak. Okay. While in the hotel, she asked to go home to her parents, but Diddy wouldn't let her leave. She lied to her mother when asked about an online gossip forum that reported the assaults. Now, Diddy proceeded to instruct his assistant to purchase excessive amounts of gifts for Cassie, which were delivered to the hotel room where she remained trapped. Now, Cassie was terrified, isolated, and unable to see a pathway out of Diddy's violation hold on her life. Okay. Okay. Hold on her life. She found herself becoming numb to the abuse she was experiencing and became entirely beholden to Diddy's demands. She began to blindly follow his instructions out of fear of again being on the receiving end of a vicious, attack. All right. So Diddy own admission. His relationship with Cassie was like Bobby and Whitney, a clear acknowledgement of the unequal power dynamics and excessive DV that permitted their relationship. From the outside looking in, Cassie had heard others refer to her relationship with Diddy to Ike and Tina. Now, her versatile and abusive partner, okay, I can't say certain words, all right, who also owned her label and therefore held her future success in his hands, had fully extended control over every aspect of her life. Now, one thing about it, in this documents, I noticed that she's more focused on her career, and she really stayed in the beginning because of her career and the career opportunities. You know what I'm saying? But I guess once it started happening, she still was doing it for her career and out of fear and everything else. Okay, so that's basically what's being said. Now we're gonna be talking about Diddy forces Cassie into trafficking. Okay, within a few months of the beginning of the romantic relationship with 40-year-old Diddy, the 22-year-old Cassie felt beholden to his whims and demands. While in New York City, Diddy told the Cassie that he wanted to engage in a fantasy of his called voyeurism. Okay, now Diddy said that it would turn him on if he saw Cassie with another eggplant. Now, the first time Diddy hired a man and brought the man to his home in Los Angeles, the man, Diddy, and Cassie wore a masquerade mask and ingested drugs. Diddy directed Cassie to perform acts with this man while Diddy watched them. He choked the chicken while he directed Cassie and the man to do specific acts. The entire encounter lasted multiple days. Now, Diddy began to call the arrangement a freak-off, or FO. He would repeatedly tell Cassie at random moments that he wanted an FO, and Cassie was eventually expected to facilitate the location and hiring of the male workers. At certain points during Cassie and Diddy's relationship, he would insist on an FO weekly. Okay, Diddy would repeatedly tell Cassie that this practice was our thing and our secret. Now, FOs will often take place in hotel suites, included the Trump International Hotel in Columbus Circle, the Leon Teej, Beverly Hills, the London Hotel in Los Angeles. It's basically naming a whole bunch of hotels that it happened in. On one occasion around 2013, Diddy had an FO set up at Intercontinental Hotel in New York City, after which he was charged with 10 of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in damage by the hotel. Upon information and belief, Diddy chief of staff Tony Fletcher paid the invoice charged by the hotel. Okay. Cassie was eventually instructed to use websites and escort services to find male workers to participate in the FOs. Now, Diddy told Cassie to search for large black eggplants on the website. Sometimes Diddy would pay to fly male workers to his location, included to multiple cities in the United States as well as abroad. He required Cassie and his staff to help him make these arrangements. All right. Now, Diddy assistants would help to set up the FOs, including by setting up the hotel suites with baby oil and Astroglide. Now, Diddy always supplied Cassie and the worker with amounts of drugs before and during the FO. So Cassie was given ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and alcohol as excessive amounts during FOs, which allowed her to disassociate during the horrific encounters. It became commonplace to get IV fluids in the days after an FO to recover from the excessive substances pushed upon her. This is all sick. This is so sick, y'all. To know that somebody really went through this. Now, we don't know for sure if this is true or not, but me and my heart and how I'm feeling about it on the outside looking in, I believe it. Okay, and that's just me and my opinion. All right, so Cassie was required to dress up in lingerie for an FO, and Diddy insisted her to she wear white nail polish to contrast her nails with the skin of the black man he hired to have intercourse with her. During the FO, Diddy would instruct Cassie to pour excessive amounts of oil over herself, baby oil. Now, Diddy would then instruct Cassie and the worker to speak to each other, and then would specifically tell Cassie where to touch the worker. Now, Diddy would say things like, grab that big black eggplant, and ask her, how does it feel, as he directed her to perform for him. During the FOs, in addition to directing Cassie and choking his chicken, Diddy would use his phone, laptop, and tablet to film Cassie having intercourse with the hired workers. He treated the forced encounter as a personal art project, adjusting the candles he used for lighting to frame the videos he took. Now, while Cassie quickly deleted any photographs or videos of acts that she did on her phone, Diddy repeatedly made clear that he retained many videos of Cassie during FOs, okay? Even when she deleted the videos, Diddy would tell Cassie that he was able to recover deleted videos from her devices. On one occasion, he sat next to her on a flight and made her watch a video she thought she had deleted, reinforcing her inability to escape an immense power he held over her. Now, Diddy would pay the male workers a few $1,000s in cash for their services. Now, during the FOs, Diddy would become extremely intoxicated and would, put hands on Cassie in front of the male workers, okay? Now, if this is true, I'm pretty sure these male workers could come forward also, okay, and help Cassie on this case, okay? Along with assistants or whoever that's around him, or maybe they got NDAs. I don't know. All right? Cassie was repulsed by Diddy's demands, but between the physical stuff that she was going through with him and recognizing his incredible power and incredible temper, Cassie became petrified of her partner and boss and felt that she could not say no. He even would present her with lavish gifts prior to the middle of the FOs, seemingly acknowledging the ways in which these forced acts, okay, which was work, okay, for Cassie, and that he needed to compensate her for this work. At one point, he had given her so many designer bracelets for FOs and immediately following his brutal attacks, and she felt that she was shackled by his presence. Frequently, her anxiety before an FO would become so great that she would become physically ill, sometimes to the point of vomiting. While kneeling over the toilet, Diddy would shame her into performing for him, eventually forcing her to get up and proceed with the encounter. Now, she knew firsthand that telling Diddy that she did not want to engage in FOs was met with anger and violence. In addition, any suggestion that Cassie will refuse the FO or otherwise report Diddy violation was met with ultimatums by Diddy, who would say that Cassie would not go to the police because she had a lot to lose, or he knew he had a lot to lose. Around August 2015, for example, in the middle of the surprise birthday dinner for Cassie's 29th birthday, Diddy insisted that Cassie leave the party and go to a hotel for an FO. He is obsessed with this if this is true. He wants to stop her from her 29th birthday so she can do something that she does not really want to do. You're forcing her to do this, weirdo, if this is true. Okay. When she expressed that she did not want to go, Diddy had Cassie cornered by his security staff in order to force her to leave with him. After this FO, Diddy and Cassie went back to the hotel room that Cassie was staying in, where some of Cassie's friends were allegedly hanging out. Now, Diddy was severely intoxicated and at one point during the night picked up one of Cassie's friends like a child and dangled the friend over the balcony of the 17th floor hotel suite. Now, Cassie and her friends were scared by Diddy's erratic behavior, and Cassie was heavily sedated because of the drugs she took to participate in the FO and therefore was unable to respond to Diddy's terrifying behavior. The FOs became work for Cassie, and despite her protests in this, Diddy insisted on these instinctively staged and forced sexual encounters between Cassie and these workers. Okay, we are gonna be going into part 2. This is part 1. Let me know how y'all feel about this so far down in the comments below, because this document is crazy. The details in this is so realistic that I am believing it. I don't care what none of y'all say. Too many stuff throughout the years has been said about Diddy regarding his sexual orientation. Kim Porter, maybe him having involvement in her death because allegedly it was pneumonia. Okay, but there is a lot of things that was going on prior, to her death and stuff like that. So maybe they should reopen her case. In my opinion, that's what should happen, because I feel like people like this should not be on this earth. And I said what I said. Okay, it's so sad, and I'm sorry for anybody that has to go through any type of DV, any type of trafficking, any type of forced anything, kidnapping, trapped anywhere. Anybody that's going through any of this, it's a sad situation, because your fear definitely has a big part in your decisions. It's either you be scared, and just do what the person say for however long because you don't want your life taken away. Or you might get that fear, and that fear might tell you to run, seek help, do what you got to do, go to the authorities, be safe, do what you got to do. It's either or. And in this situation, Cassie was too scared. Okay, the fear overpowered her decisions, and she knew how Diddy was moving, so of course she would not want to endure any of that or his people coming for her, anything like that. Okay, so I just feel like this situation is going to get really crazy because, of course, this is a lawsuit. There's a lot of things in these documentations, and I'm pretty sure more people was going to come out and speak. Now, there are incidents where there's females that, feel some type of way or want to put, these men in jail for no reason because they in their feelings or whatever the case may be, but that is not the case for every situation, because there are real monsters out here that's really doing this to these women. And I feel if this is true and Diddy is moving like this and he is this monster, I really feel sorry for Carisha. Because we always see Carisha, my man, my man. She always seems like she's happy, just like Cassie and them. You know, we're not really thinking about it. J-Lo, Kim Porter, everybody that was, you know, around him, with him, or whatever, we always saw fronting. You know, it seems like people be happy, and this happens in real life. It be real women out here that's in real crazy toxic DV situations, but if you see them online and stuff like that, they're kissing, they're in love, they on vacations, they doing this, they with the kids, but behind them closed doors that nobody knows, it's a monster doing his dirty work. You know what I'm saying? Just and then it's shocking because a lot of people know how to hide it. They hide it so good because they don't want the person to get in trouble, because they feel like their life is going to be at jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like a situation where you just don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? But getting out of the situation and fearing what might happen is a little bit better than actually staying and waiting for something to happen. You know what I'm saying? You know, if anything happens, just know that I try to get out. I try to do this, and always just tell people. I don't care. Just tell people, okay? And I don't know. I don't know how to talk about. I don't know how to do the situation. I can only talk about myself, okay, and what I would do or what I would want to do, okay? Because we even if watching movies and stuff, we be like, oh, well, if that happened to me, I would have did this, but you would have not. We don't know what we would do if we was in those situations until we are in those situations. You understand what I'm saying? So I can't tell you what to do, okay? I can't tell nobody what to do, okay? Because it be your situation, it's your shoes that you gotta, you know, it's your decision of what you gotta do. It's your life, you know, it's just what you have to do. Me, on my behalf, I wouldn't know what to do. I know I would try to do something, or, you know, the situation, because I was in something when I was around 19 and I got out of the situation. I was scared, but I got out of the situation. Went right to that police, and I did what I had to do, and then went clink clink under the jail. Okay, and that's just what it is. Sometimes fear makes you do what you want to do, as in escaping or telling the authorities something. And it's fear that makes you just so scared that you don't want to tell anybody about the situation that you're going through. You just want to endure whatever that, you know, you don't want to go through. And don't do that to yourselves, okay? Because y'all don't want to be in a situation where it's going to get so crazy where your life is took. You know what I'm saying? So please take these things seriously, okay? Put fear out the window. Do what you got to do so that person could be another person to get off this street, off this earth, okay? That's all I have to say about this. Make sure y'all stay tuned for part 2, because part 2 is going to be more of the documents. So we're going to be talking about the whole thing so everybody can be in tune on what's going on. And these are actual court documents, things that was said on Cassie's behalf and stuff like that. So we're going to get into it, okay? This is a trigger warning, okay? This is not, you know, victim blaming, shaming, no, none of that. This is basically some advice. This is just basically, we're going to be talking. This is a chat. We are in the chat. Okay, and this is a topic that should be discussed. Okay, it should be shared. Okay, it should be thought about. Okay, because nobody wants to lose their life over some narcissist, controlling, weirdo monster that got nothing to do with themselves. Okay, clearly got some type of issues going on. Okay, and they it's a control thing for most of them. You know what I'm saying? And then once you give them that control, they just gonna keep getting worse. You know, it'll start off with this, or you can't do that. Try to be controlling about your clothes. Try to be controlling about where you go. Trying to be act like as if they're a dad or something. Those are red signs. Those are red flags. Okay. Then once that start happening, they start like giving you gifts, taking you out, starting to have you stay in the house, and then if you don't listen and stuff like this, then the violence start coming in, and then once the violence start coming in, God knows what else coming. It's a pattern for a lot of these weirdos out here. Okay, so make sure y'all stay tuned and you know, watch the next video. I love y'all. Make sure y'all let me know how y'all feel about this down in the comments below, and it is what it is. Okay, so make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and share. If anybody would like to donate to my Cash App, because, you know, a girl got bills, a girl got, you know, we need the coins. Okay, so Toxic Tea Lounge is the same name as my YouTube. If y'all want to support your girl and cash at me some stuff, go ahead and do so. Okay, I am tired. It's Friday, and I'm just gonna give y'all the videos. Love y'all. Toodaloo.
Gotta be something different. You must be